What's up guys, welcome back. I know this doesn't look like my normal taping area. That's because I am in the home of one of my YouTube viewers. He invited me over to do a review and an unboxing on this thing right here in the box. Oh man, this is heavy. I even wore my Primal RC shirt hoping that maybe he will also order up one of those. Now you guys know, and if you didn't know, now you know, I am going to be picking this up in about 60 days from today. They are coming out at the end of August and I will be on my way to get the Primal MT, the largest monster truck to date, weighing in at 80 pounds. This thing right here is 32. So yes, that's going to be enormous. I don't even know how I'm going to bring that home and stick it in my Prius. This is a ROVAN 1/5 scale 360 SLT buggy. Really good deal right now on the ROVAN website, $769. By the way, when you've got way too many X-Maxes, you don't really even have a need for a table. You could just put the box right on top of the X-Max box and use that as a table. If you guys notice, the front of this box says ROVAN. That is because ROVAN is basically changing their name to ROVAN. I do not know the actual reason behind that. Maybe it's some kind of international capitalism issue, but either way, the box is really nice. This is a red 360 SLT V5 buggy. Let's open it up, see what's inside. On my last ROVAN, the seals to the box were cut, and that is because apparently ROVAN themselves here does inspect it for, I guess, any kind of shipping damage and make sure everything is there. There it is, guys. The box is open. Man, this thing takes up like literally, look at that, the whole box. Wow. We have a nice top view here. Looks like we have some stickers. Pretty cool. Some window stickers, V5, I guess this is the 5th version. Have some paperwork, really important. I remember the paperwork that came with my ROVAN 305 gas buggy was extremely useful. They have a full detailed break-in procedure, how you start it, really useful. Make sure you read this if you're a beginner to these kinds of things. Oh yeah, the goodie bag, right? The goodies, here we go. I actually like to see this. We have some shock oil, some filter oil. It looks like we have an additional couple of foam filter elements for the air filter, obviously tools. Let's open this up actually. We have our basic tool set. This is a spark plug wrench, the wheel wrench. This is probably the charger. Let's see. So this thing has a 4,500 milliamp hour NiCad battery pack, which is really nice because honestly, I don't particularly care about LiPos. I prefer the NiCads because there is no risk of fire with those at least. Here is an adapter, I guess, to charge the battery pack. We have a couple extra axle dust boot covers and little grommets and body clips. Pretty nice. Man, look at that instruction manual. I think this is the first time I've seen one that it's actually in color. That's really nice. They must have upgraded their printer technology. Blah, blah, blah. We're not going to read that because we're pretty much experts by this point, right? We have the standard fuel mixing can, really useful if you're a beginner. I actually still use mine to this day. This is really useful if you're doing a 25:1 fuel mix ratio. If not, you probably want to get yourself a ratio right cup on Amazon. One of the tires, look at that. Man, this is cool. So the tires are not on the buggy, because otherwise they probably wouldn't even fit in the box, but these are really cool. What I like is they are bead locks. The tread compound seems pretty soft and pliable, and you know what? We're actually going to weigh these later and compare these to the standard ROVAN Baja style wheels. Alright, this must be the radio. This thing comes with a 3-channel, which is a really nice upgrade because you definitely do not want to run a 2-channel setup on these because you cannot install a kill switch on a 2-channel. So you definitely need a 3-channel. Here we go, the radio. This thing has a Fly Sky radio. Really useful and cool radio. I've honestly run these in my RCs for years. The only downside here is the 8 AA's that it needs to power itself. But I'll tell you this, it's not all that bad. The 8 AA's for me lasts almost like a year and a half. And the digital display on top is really useful, and you could also run up to 10 different RCs on this with a simple $7 receiver. Just stick it into any RC car that you have and you have yourself a nice digital remote control with a 2.4 gigahertz system. Before I take it out of the box, check this out. I mean, this body is just so wide. I really like that. These things are really similar to the LOSI 5B buggy, but those things come basically as a kit form and they sell for $750 right now. The body is extremely ugly in my opinion on the LOSI. This is actually pretty nice. Look at that, it has cut vent holes for the engine, really nice to see. Okay, so now that it's unboxed, it's right here next to me. Let me tell you right now, this is a great buggy. Now, why do I say that? That is because this is basically a 5T. Now, Rovan put on their website that the 5T parts are interchangeable with this, which is really cool. Now, I thought at first this was a smaller DBXL platform, but it is not. This is literally the same as the King Motors X2 and the Rovan LT truck, which are both four-wheel drive. That is honestly the best thing about one of these buggies, not only because of the price and the feature set you get, but I love four-wheel drive. That is one of the reasons I've been into Red Cat lately, because when you get a Baja, now yes, I do like the Bajas, but they're only two-wheel drive, which means you have rear-wheel braking only. Even if you get a disc brake upgrade on the Bajas, they're just not as good as a really good four-wheel drive system. So this is basically a half-price Team LOSI 5T that's on a buggy platform. Now, a lot of people love the 1/8 scale buggies. Now, only time will tell whether a 1/5 scale buggy is going to be as good as a 1/8. I don't see why not. This thing is actually really, really wide, pretty long, and it weighs 32 pounds. I mean, look at this. Oh, I don't know. Should I go to the gym today? I could probably do a couple military presses with it. There we go. There we go. We call this ROVAN training. Okay, let's remove the body. We're going to check out the electronics, see how cool it is inside, see if there's any kind of issues that are pretty much noticeable right away. One of the first things I noticed when mounting the wheel, notice the wheel nuts. They are not exposed like every other Rovan I've seen. These are the really nice closed wheel nuts. Look at this. There's really no hole in here. It's nice open flange right over here. Pretty nice. You have standard 24mm size hubs. That means pretty much any, typical wheel from a 1/5 scale will fit here. You should have no issues as long as obviously clearance issues are solved. Now it's time to weigh the tires. I have my vintage USPS scale right over here. Let's see what the Rovan buggy tires weigh in at. They are 1.2 pounds, I'm going to call it. So honestly, pretty lightweight. I also have the front tires for my Rovan. Let's see what the front tires alone weigh. Yes, they are lighter. They are less than 1 pound. That is some interesting news. These are 1.25 pounds about. These are my rear tires from my Rovan that I run, my favorite trencher style tread. These are the original pin style tires. Let's see what they are. These are 1 pound. So yes, these are actually pretty lightweight. So why did I weigh the tires? The reason is the owner told me that eventually in the future he probably wants to replace these tires with a different tread. Now these are different, of course, but you can tell that they are much narrower than the standard HPI style rear tires, so these wheels were not fit. Now I think the front tires from the Rovan Baja are basically the same. They seem to be similar. I in fact probably think that other than this cap right over here, these are probably exactly the same wheel. I am not going to disassemble this right now because it's still brand new, and that's not what I'm trying to do, but I think in the future these would basically be easier to run any kind of tread on top of these. The body itself already comes vented. You could tell you have a really nice cutout here in the back, and in the front you have a couple 3-line kind of vent holes. Pretty nice. To remove the body, it's typical buggy style stuff. You have body clips here and a couple in the back. Let's remove them. There we go. This is what dreams are made of, guys. That, of course, only if you have 1/5 scale gas RC dreams like me. Nice body. Check this out, guys. With the body off, this thing is a killer. I really like the design. Everything looks solid. The fit and finish is really fantastic. If I was an automotive journalist and I was describing the fit and finish of a BMW, I would have to give this a 2 thumbs up. Notice this fuel tank design. This has the updated breather style system, so there's a third line coming out of the fuel grommet right here. This is going to help us vent and make sure that we don't have any pressure issues in the future. This particular chassis has a lot of upgrades. Now, the thing that stands out the most to me is this huge quarter scale throttle and brake servo. Now, normally you have a small 10th scale size servo here in the middle, but this thing uses a massive one. So these are both rated at 55 kilograms. They are digital and high torque. The gears and the diffs all around are all metal. There are no plastic gears here. This does have a pipe. I am not quite sure whether this will be one of the best, but hey, it's better than a stock can exhaust, which is what you would get on even the most expensive LOSIs of the day. So this already is a benefit. Obviously, this is a good 36cc size engine with an easy start system. Now, I'm not quite sure what they mean by easy start, but anything that you get with a 32 or higher cc displacement engine has what they call an easy start system. I'm not going to be pulling it right now because I have to do my pre-run maintenance. Hopefully, I'll be able to do that in the future. The chassis itself is beautiful. In the back, we have an aluminum chassis brace. This is usually one of the things people upgrade on the LOSIs. Here, you don't even have to do that. You have all metal suspension parts all around, dog bones drivetrain. The shocks are just enormous. These literally look like the same shocks on the LOSIs. Pretty nice. I even like the red anodizing color. Hopefully they don't get sued for that. We have pretty good thick metal aluminum shock towers front and rear. And the suspension, I gotta say, it is really, really well dampened. When I took out my ROVAN Buggy for the first time, I thought there was something wrong with the shocks. But in this case, I mean, the suspension is really smooth. It's dampened. Even the travel is very good. Just like the 5T, this thing also has the same type of adjustable mesh system for the motor. You could tell that you have these spacers right over here. There's 4 of them. So anytime you want to increase or decrease your gearing and you need to move the motor in and out to create a better mesh, you can simply just put in different spacers and this thing will fit in perfectly. Pretty nice touch here. The suspension on this thing is surprisingly smooth and well dampened. Take a look at this. Honestly, for a stock suspension setup, it is really good. I could tell that the rear is a little bit better dampened than the front. Maybe that's because when this thing lands, it absorbs the impact differently. I don't know. But I do know for a fact that this is already much better than the ROVAN Gas Buggies that I had previously. So, honestly, very happy with the suspension layout. I like the side guards right over here. Pretty nice. The chassis says 7075 aluminum on it. It is 5mm thick chassis. In terms of size, check out this comparison. This is one of the best X-Maxes, the Snap-on model. This Buggy is literally longer than the X-Max, as I have the wheelbases kind of matching in the back. You could tell that the front, the Buggy, is way beyond the wheelbase of the X-Max. Really, really cool. Now, of course, the wheels, yes, are a little bit smaller. But you know what? The X-Max is a monster truck, so that's kind of an unfair comparison. This is a Buggy. It is still actually wider than the X-Max, surprising. And now here's a size comparison between the original HPI Baja 5B. It is basically almost the same exact length, but the width is much wider. I like that. It's not bad. So stay tuned, comment, like, and subscribe. There's going to be a lot more on this. I'm going to be putting it through a whole bunch of tests along with the owner once we get this kill switch installed. Very important. And then we're going to see how fast this thing is. They claim that it will hit 40 miles an hour. Now, based on my experience with the ROVAN brand, they do in fact hit exactly what they say. But this has a 36cc engine. Maybe you could push much taller gearing, or maybe it doesn't even need to. There it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Till next time.